for this next segment, I really want you to go back to April. I want you to mentally put yourself back in an April mindset. What were the biggest Major League Baseball topics that you imagined we were going to be talking about late August, early September?
Let's see. It would have been the Dodgers being in first place. It would have been the Yankees versus the Red Sox in the American League East. We would have talked about the major trade deadline move of Frankie Montas, and we probably would have been talking about the NL Central, even though the NL Central is not exciting at all.
Yeah, we might have been talking about the AL Central just because I know you love that topic so much. Surprise topic that you did not see coming. I did not see coming. We're talking about a 42-year-old that is 7 home runs away from hitting 700 home runs for his career. We're talking about Albert Pujols in his farewell tour with the St. Louis Cardinals. And that 693, that 693rd home run, it was a big one. It was a 0-0 ball game, 7th inning, off of a lefty, which is a theme that we're going to get out of 2022 Albert Pujols. It was a shot that really invigorated a somewhat hot Cardinals team as they march on towards the postseason. Are we going to get one of those Cinderella endings to Albert Pujols' career? He's going to hit 700 and the Cardinals are just going to get hot in October?
Hot in October? No, they're going to lose to the Padres in the first wild card round. Go Padres. But at the same time, I think that it's improbable and not impossible that Albert Pujols is going to get to 700 home runs because he has hit 8 in the last 13 games. He's inching ever so close to that number. And you mentioned the lefty thing, and I'll just put this stat out into the universe first and foremost. Albert Pujols against left-handed hitters this year has a 1.240 OPS, which is better than 2003 Barry Bonds in terms of OPS. But against right-handed hitters, he has a 607 OPS, which is the equivalent of Oakland A's backup outfielder Tony Kemp, who currently has a negative wins above replacement on the season. So Albert Pujols is hitting against lefties and hitting bombs against lefties.
And correction, obviously, I know you're talking about pitchers, not hitters. I mean,
yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was taking some hitters deep. We have seen some hitters on the mound this year.
Against left-handed pitching, yes.
Albert Pujols, he was actually the NL Player of the Week just this past week. That kind of tells you the type of terror he's on. And I think that the Home Run Derby had a lot to play into his late season push. I feel as though, similar to Juan Soto last year, the Home Run Derby kind of lit a match under his ass because he's, like you said, 8 home runs in like the last few weeks. He had that one game where he was 4 for 4 with 2 home runs, which is the oldest player to have such a game. And this one, like I said, a game winner. He's just really on top of things right now, except against, again, right-handed pitching. But this is more than you could have asked for when you signed him as the St. Louis Cardinals. It was almost a sympathy signing in a way when he signed there. But now he's a legitimate part of your team coming off your bench and hitting bombs. That's a great move from what organization that just happens to pull players out of their ass most of the time.
Yeah, the Cardinals, who I can say confidently my entire life have been winning 88 regular season games every year for my entire life. Sometimes they make the playoffs, sometimes they don't, but they're always winning 88 games and they always have 2 really good players. It's been my entire life that's been the case for the Cardinals.
Okay, so let's talk about the rest of the way for Albert Pujols. Currently here recording on the 23rd of August on a Tuesday. He's got a couple more games coming up against the Cubs here. They have a home series against the Braves and then a 3-game set against Cincinnati. So I could see at least maybe 1 to 2 more home runs in that set. Probably 1, I would say, okay, Cubs, hitter-friendly park, Cardinals Stadium, bit hit or miss. But the Reds, you get that bandbox stadium, and then you get some Reds pitching. Hopefully you get some Reds left-handed pitching in that series. You do have a home series against the Cubbies. Then you get to play the horrible, downtrodden Washington Nationals this year in a 4-game series. You had a 3-game series against the Pirates on the road, and the Pirates have a short left field porch. So if he just wants to go straight pool mode, pull mode for pull host, that could work out well for him. Milwaukee, home series, so doesn't get benefit from Milwaukee Stadium. Another series with the Reds, so a lot of Reds down the stretch run. That's going to help anyone that wants to hit more home runs. Then he gets to visit sunny San Diego, so hopefully you get a chance to check out your boys and hope that they don't have history put on them, as the Padres have benefited from the history of other teams happening in their stadium a ton. Very much in the cards by the time we're talking late September run in Dodger Stadium. So the team he was on last year gets to go to Milwaukee for a couple more days, gets another round with the Pittsburgh Pirates. In fact, they have a home and home. So they play 3 games in St. Louis and they get 3 more games to close out the season in Pittsburgh. So a lot of Pittsburgh, a lot of Reds, 4-game set with the Nationals, hitter-friendly stadiums in Milwaukee. I think he's going to do it. And I think there's other reasons to think he's going to do it. Are you opposed to the idea, the principle of opposing pitchers grooving pitches for him?
No, groove pitches. I'm cool with grooving pitches. I'm not someone who clutches their pearls about integrity of the game. Part of it is entertainment. I'm okay with people grooving, especially if you play for the shitty Pirates or the shitty Reds. Just groove a couple pitches in there so he can hit a home run. This is about entertainment.
Yeah, if you play the Pirates, if you play the Reds, there's a good chance that there's a 10-1 ball game and Albert Pujols has a couple of at-bats. Someone can't throw him a 92-mile-per-hour fastball down the pipe.
Just put one of those position players in and make sure it's a position player that throws left-handed.
I will say that I was impressed by the 693rd home run because it was above the box, it was outside the zone, and he still was able to get under it and put enough air on it. So he's actually just swinging the bat really well. He's seeing the ball really well at this point. So hopefully that continues. Like I want to see it. Baseball, where baseball succeeds and baseball strives is in narratives and storylines. I think that that's one of the greatest gifts that we get from late season baseball, particularly October, the Fall Classic, when we get into that mode, because we can make a picturesque scene. We can tell a beautiful tale of the game, akin to James Earl Jones reciting his famous speech, or we get to see the Field of Dreams game. Baseball is in its elements when it gets to tell a good story. And Albert Pujols is that good story for us this year. And after a decade of wasting his time in Los Angeles or Anaheim in baseball hell with the Angels, I'm glad that he's finally back in a Cardinals jersey, because it just feels like everything's right with the world. 3 away from A-Rod. As much as we've talked about kind of like the steroid arguments too, and coming in a year in which one of baseball's brightest stars, Fernando Tatis, was popped for steroids, I think it would be good for the minutia of the game if Albert Pujols was to pass one of the known PED guys. And that's not supposed to be a true dig at A-Rod, but I feel as though a guy that, at least for our knowledge, at least for what we know today, was never really wrapped up in the PED scandal, even though he had an opportunity to be wrapped up in the PED scandals. I think Albert Pujols, at least passing A-Rod, would be a feat in itself, but I want him to hit that magical historic mark. In fact, if he hits 700 home runs, let's say he did it on September 1st, he literally just hits 7 home runs in the next week, I think he should just, okay, I'm good. Even though I think the Cardinals might actually say, dude, you're hot right now. We need you out there. Get your ass out there, Albert.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. This can be a good against evil thing, and something that baseball sells to not geriatrics, but something baseball sells to people who really loved baseball.
Come on, they got to sell it to little Timmy. They got to sell it to little Timmy out there.
Little Timmy, I'm 21 and I barely give a shit about Albert Pujols. Little Timmy wasn't even born when Albert Pujols was hitting home runs to the upper deck of Houston.
You're a nihilist, Kyle. You've been beaten down and downtrodden by the world that be. Let little Timmy, with that childhood innocence, watch Albert Pujols, one of the greatest of all time.
If little Timmy's going to be captivated by the pureness of baseball, put on Jacob deGrom, put on Fernando Tatis, put on Vladimir Guerrero Jr., put on the people who are actually going to be playing when little Timmy turns into a baseball player himself.
Kyle, little Timmy needs this.
No, little Timmy. No, you know who needs this? Little Timmy's uncle.
He's been inundated little Timmy's
with uncle
too many
needs this.
Big booty Latinos on TikTok. This is wholesome. This is what, yes, we have the goodness of Albert Pujols
No,
hitting his
Lil Timmy's
700th home run.
No, Lil Timmy's uncle is the one who cares about Albert Pujols. Lil Timmy's uncle is the one who watched Albert Pujols in the 2006 World Series. He's the one who cares about Albert Pujols against Houston in 2005 or the 2010 playoffs. Like these are people who are yearning for a time in baseball when Albert Pujols was launching dingers, which is totally cool. It makes baseball fun in the regular season. I love this storyline of Pujols. Let's not pretend that it isn't like a retirement tour and people who still care about records in baseball. And that's okay. It's very, very fun.
You know, I realize talking about this subject, I think I hate the Angels more now.
You should. There's a great theory, I believe. If Albert Pujols had signed with the Dodgers after 2011, he would have broke Barry Bonds' record. Like, no question, would have broke Barry Bonds' record. He was mismanaged by the Angels all the way.
The Angels just literally sucked the talent out of perhaps the greatest right-handed hitter of all time. He's at least in the top 3 discussion.
I bring this up all the time of players who had a minimum of like 300 at-bats in 2016, which was 6 years ago. Albert Pujols had the worst offensive WAR in baseball. He was statistically the worst offensive player who batted at a high volume during the season. That was 6 years ago. He was the worst offensive player in baseball. And he's still going to get to 700 home runs. And he didn't have to play until he was 45, like what's his name? Rafael Palmeiro or Hank Aaron. Well, actually, Albert Pujols' birth age is a little bit up for dispute, but like the point still stands. Like Albert Pujols didn't have to play beyond 22, 23, 24 years to get there. Like if he had just had a not the worst offensive player in baseball season in the mid 2010s, he probably would have, if not broke Barry Bonds' record, would have broke Hank Aaron's record and Babe Ruth's record for home runs.
Okay, guys. Historic chase, Albert Pujols 7 away. Do you think he's going to get there? What are the odds that Albert Pujols gets there? And hey, be bold. What game do you think that he's going to hit that legendary home run in? I want to know. Drop that below. Leave a like on this video because it helps us, helps Albert Pujols. It's telling you folks, it helps Albert Pujols. Subscribe to the channel.
I will say this also. If we get to 100 likes on this video, we will start going through Juju's TikTok history on the podcast.
Yes, we will. It's actually pretty barren, but still, we will. Anyway, subscribe. Juju Talk Sports. Kyle Ledbetter. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. We will see you next time.